Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. It is Friday, September 6th. I'm Michael Taylor, and I'm telling you right now, I'm very happy to be indoors in the studio instead of outside today. It's a warm one. It was already warm when I came in this morning, and it's nothing but get hotter as we go on. We'll talk about that in the weather, but right now, let's talk about what we have on the show today. And that's Dr. John Hovhannissian is going to be here from Harvard Eye Associates. We're going to be talking about the risk of fall and how it has to do with connection with your vision. And it's a new study out about that and what you can do for prevention. And then Radnet's Paul Kalicki is going to be here. He's also a prostate cancer survivor, and September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. We're going to be talking about his journey and some tips you can do for prevention and treatment if you have those issues as well. Right now, though, we talk about a little bit of a celebration going on Monday. Hopefully, the temperatures will be a little bit cooler for us. But on our Stay Informed, it's the 60th anniversary of Laguna Woods Village right here. It's going to be on Monday, September 9th, Clubhouse 2 from 5 to 7:30. So it'll be a little cooler, sun going down in the late afternoon, so that'll be nice at least. I won't have the hot of the day. We're going to have ice cream there. There's going to be chair yoga. There's going to be all sorts of celebrations. Lots of booths. Thrive's going to be there, so great food options, complimentary shuttle service. Make sure you get out there and celebrate the 60th with your friends here in the community. And let's take a look at those temperatures and maybe look ahead to Monday, see what those temperatures are going to be like. We got really, really warm. We got heat advisories for the next 2 days, then just a little bit cooler on Sunday, and then a good step down from our highs on Monday. So it won't be so terrible for the big celebration. Then 85, that's when we're really going to see temperatures kind of get back to semi-normal for this time of year. But that heat dome was really solid over the southwest, and it stuck there for a while, but we're going to get rid of it as we go into the middle of next week. Let's take a look at our sunrise and our sunset while we're at it. And we got a beautiful picture from Cole Young. Thank you, Cole, for sending this one in. At Phoenix, Arizona, beautiful shot of one of the mountains out there. Looks like around sunset kind of time, maybe even some monsoonal storms there in the background. Sunrise this morning was 6:28. Sunset tonight, 7:08. If you'd like to send us a picture like Cole did, well, you can do so. Just email us at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Make sure you include your name, where you took the picture, and we will use it in our sunrise sunset segment. Okay, we got a couple of meetings to tell you about, and then when we come back, we'll be talking to Dr. John Hovhannissian from Harvard Eye Associates. Stay with us.
Welcome to Harvard Eye Associates. We're focused on your eye care at all 3 of our Orange County locations.
Our new location in Laguna Hills, Orange, and San Clemente.
Each facility features the latest in advanced technology and diagnostic equipment.
And a trusted collection of doctors that care about your vision and your quality of life.
We deliver what matters to you and your family.
Harvard Eye Associates, the future of vision today.
I want to welcome back to the program Dr. John Hovhannissian from Harvard Eye Associates. Thank you for joining us.
Good to see you, my friend.
So a new study came out that links falls with vision, which is kind of like, to me, it's like, yeah, okay, but so what's the new part? But let's talk first about how falls happen around. What are some of the common ways that elderly folks do come up with falls?
Yeah, falls are a tough subject and yet a very, very important one. We know that the likelihood of people falling, about 1/3 of the population falls per year after age 65. And that percentage goes up about 1%, a little less than 1% per year of life. And so really it increases with time, and it's due to a lot of different things, as you as you ask. So, one of the things that contributes to falls is diseases like diabetes. If you have low blood sugar or you take medication that regulates your blood sugar, we know that dementia is a major cause of falls.
Right.
And medications tie into that too, because cognition often relates to medications. And
Right, if there's any impairment because of the medications as a side effect.
if you take 4 medications or more, your risk of falling goes way up.
Wow.
And that's just because the likelihood is that that combination of drugs is going to have some effect, not that you have dementia, not, but on your perception. And certain medications alone can cause trouble, those that cause dizziness or can cause alterations in your blood chemistry. Can cause people to
And even
fall.
the inner ear issues if you're having hearing problems, because that also has a lot to do with balance too. Even that's not your area of expertise,
No,
but those are
you're
one of
right.
the factors too.
Yeah, you're
There's
absolutely right.
So many things.
Balance is a big one. Muscular issues. If you have orthopedic problems with knees or ankles, you often have difficulty recovering when you start to fall because there's not strength in that, in that limb, in that joint. And so all of these things lead to falls. And we know that for people 85 and older, the majority of who fall, the majority of injury-related deaths are, they're related to falls.
Related to falls, right? Then
yeah.
they're hospitalized, then they're in lack of mobility,
Yeah.
and then things start to spiral, unfortunately, right?
And so just like, at a younger age, we try to exercise and eat right and do things to keep ourselves healthy to prevent risk of certain diseases like heart disease, as we get older, we need to shift and think about risks of falls as its own problem. And so we need to address that with, by taking care of ourselves.
So what exactly did this study say about the connection between falls and vision?
Well, so vision, obviously, if we didn't mention it, but vision obviously is related to falls. If you don't see well, you're not going to see a wrinkle in the carpet. It doesn't take very much reduced vision to meaningfully alter, your ability to prevent a fall. Wetness on a floor, easy to miss if you don't have clear vision, or other subtle things in the pavement, unevenness in pavement that causes people to fall all the time. And so it's long been known that poor vision relates to falls, but one thing that has not been as well recognized related to vision is the use of bifocal or progressive glasses. So just to cover the subject briefly, as we get older, our eye loses the ability to see both far and up close. And so if we just correct our distance vision with a single vision pair of glasses, we can't usually read with that same pair of glasses. We need to put in a second lens. That's where a line comes in, or 2 lines if you have a trifocal. Or a progressive lens, where you get rid of the line, but the bottom of the lens focuses differently than the top of the lens. And yet all of those cause distortion when you look down, especially the progressive lenses.
I know that 100%. I have sunglasses that have readers on the bottom so I can look at things when it's sunny day. And I go downstairs over the beach and I have to take them off because the lines are messing me up so bad.
I do exactly the same thing because I have exactly the same type of sunglasses, and you're absolutely right. It will, I can't hike downhill with those, over uneven surfaces.
That distortion is legit.
It's a real thing. And as you get older and your balance and your strength decreases. So wearing progressive or bifocal glasses is associated with more than 1/3 of falls that happen in seniors. And so as we get older, I guess for our viewers, there's a couple of messages. First of all, have a regular eye exam, because if you haven't, you may feel like you see well enough to get to the grocery store and go to the familiar places you need to. But you're greatly increasing your risk of falls if your vision is not normal. And so update your glasses or do whatever you need to see well. So annual eye exams are strongly recommended by the American Academy of Ophthalmology for anybody over age 65. And then if you have a problem that requires treatment, cataract is the most common one, take care of it. Don't wait until the last moment to do that, because you do increase your risk of falls. And then I guess the third message is, if you're going to have surgery of any sort and there's an option to correct your eyes so that at least you have clear distance vision without glasses, now you can get rid of progressive lenses or bifocals. Right? And if you can do that, you won't need to wear them when you're walking around. So you can have a pair of readers you put on when you sit down to read. You can even have progressives that you wear, for desk work and working on a page. But take them off when you're walking around, when you're going places. You wear sunglasses that are non-progressive so that you're less likely to fall.
Now, some of the things the study recommended, let me get your take on some of these things.
Yeah.
Fall screening assessment interventions
Yeah.
by optometrists. So there needs to be some training for your world, right, in terms of recognizing that that's a risk for a patient and telling them what to do in terms of prevention.
Yeah, and so if you're having an eye exam, it's a great idea to ask your doctor, hey, I'm concerned about falls. What can we do to prevent me from falling, from either my eyewear or my vision strategy? Another thing we haven't talked about is monovision. A lot of people say, well, I wear progressives because they're so easy. Well, monovision is the idea that one eye sees far and one eye sees near. And this could be done with contact lenses. This can be done with surgery, like cataract surgery. And then you generally don't need glasses at all because you have one eye for distance and one eye for near. And that doesn't compromise your risk of falling. People with monovision retain very good what we call stereo acuity or depth perception.
Really? It's not like a chameleon where you're seeing different.
Yeah, no, your brain uses the two eyes together, and even if the second eye is a little bit blurred, it still helps you in 3D processing.
So it helps you with the dimension.
Very
and
little,
depth.
there's very little reduction. It's somewhat surprising in in 3D vision when we have one eye just a little bit defocused for up close vision. So that's an option. We have fancy lens implants that can help people to see better when you go through cataract surgery, and a lot of those folks don't wear glasses for anything because they're really amazing technology. So talk to your doctor when you're having an eye exam about falls and what you can do to reduce them. That's the important thing.
And then in professional development, one of the things it said was like maybe allow fall prevention, and for optometrists to be one of the things that you can do for your annual kind of a professional development.
Yeah, that's right. We are educating. I'm involved in a lot of professional education for both optometrists and ophthalmologists, and we focus on fall prevention because we're beginning to recognize what an important element it is and how we can help.
And what can seniors do are there classes that you can do to teach you how to fall safely, how to build muscles or build resistance to falling in the first place?
Well, so you bring up a great point. Good physical fitness and strength and flexibility, because balance is greatly related to flexibility of your muscles. You have a hard time, your muscles are working harder to stay in balance if the joints aren't flexible. They're fighting against inflexibility. So keeping yourself fit is number one. And number two, I think, I don't know specifically here in the village, but I have to imagine there's all kinds of opportunities for educational classes to help people prevent falls.
Yeah, yoga and stretching classes and all those kinds of things.
It's all
Absolutely.
great. It's all great.
What role do emergency departments in healthcare, when they have someone come in and that they've had a fall, how do they assess what was the root cause of that fall?
This is the sad thing, is that in most emergency care situations, they're looking at not Band-Aid, but solving the problem that has resulted from the fall. And they may do a little bit of counseling on preventing falls, but that's not their focus in the acute care setting. So it's really between you and your doctors in a preventive way to talk about falls before they happen, to make it less likely. I mean, it's just, once you fall, it leads to injuries that immobilize and cause other problems, which cause you to exercise less, which cause you to be less flexible and strong, which cause you to fall. In fact, one of the chief causes of falls is having had a previous fall. So preventing the first one ought to be everybody's goal.
That should be it.
Yeah.
Folks come in to get an eye exam, should they be asking you specifically about what do I do to prevent falls, and do you have advice for folks?
So all of our eye doctors and all eye doctors everywhere, you should ask about falls. That's exactly right. If you're concerned about them, ask about what can I do with my eyewear or surgery or whatever we're doing to help me see well that will help minimize the risk of falls.
Okay, get those annual eye exams.
You got
Dr.
it.
John Hoveniesen from Harvard Eye Associates, thank you very much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure seeing you, Michael. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.
Eggs. For you, they never ended up in one basket. You saved, you invested, you diversified. Then, with the right help, you grew your nest egg and found the recipe for your ideal retirement. And when it all came together, you realized it was about more than just eggs. Write your retirement recipe today.
Welcome to the RadNet Health Spot. I'm Stephanie Landon, talking to you today about screening for lung cancer. Did you know that each year, more people die of lung cancer than of colon, breast, and prostate cancers combined? The good news is that the numbers of new lung cancer cases and deaths from lung cancer continue to decrease, partly because people are quitting smoking and also due to advances in early detection. With that in mind, let's take a look at lung cancer screening so you can understand your risk or that of someone you love. Low-dose CT is a specialized screening that is used to find lung cancer before you have symptoms and before the cancer has spread, when it becomes more difficult to treat. The exam itself is quick and easy. There are no needles for contrast or X-ray dye and no need to fast before the exam. Most importantly, this screening test is covered by almost all insurance plans for most people at high risk. So what is considered high risk? There are a few factors used to assess candidacy for this screening, all of which involve your smoking status. These include having at least a 20-pack year smoking history, currently being a smoker, or having quit smoking within the last 15 years, and you are between the ages of 50 and 80. Anyone who is at high risk for lung cancer due to their smoking history should speak with their healthcare provider about getting a low-dose chest CT. The fact is, the key to surviving cancer is finding it in its earliest stage. And the best way to find lung cancer early, if you are at high risk, is with a low-dose lung CT.
And welcome back. I want to welcome Paul Kalakio. He's coming to us today as a prostate cancer survivor.
Yes.
And how many years have you been out and clear?
5 years.
5 years. Well,
5 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I was diagnosed when I was 54 years old.
Really? Okay. And what were the symptoms you had?
My PSA score was very low. Mm-hmm. It was 1.9, and that's a blood test that they do to check. And even though it was only 1.9, I kept urinating a lot at night. Mm-hmm. I was up all night. I was losing sleep. So my primary care provider said that I should see a radiologist and get an MRI.
And that's usually a sign of just an enlarged prostate, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
It is not necessarily cancer or anything or prostate disease. It could just be an enlarged prostate. Mm-hmm. In my case, there was a palpable lump, and then there was cancer found within the prostate gland.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. When you heard that, what's the reaction?
My dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer when he was 72, but they said it was so slow that they weren't going to do anything about it. Oh. They were just watchful waiting, they call it. In my case, where they said it was mildly aggressive because it was starting to poke out of the gland, I knew from being in this industry that if it does get out, then you're in trouble. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I took it very seriously, and I wanted to get through it as quickly as I could.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So September is an important month for you because it's Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, right?
Yes.
What does it mean to you to kind of talk to folks about this?
Well, you know what? I cannot stress enough. I've been on television so many times talking about prostate cancer, and I'm not a celebrity, and I'm not a Politico or well-known name, but I cannot get people, I cannot get men to just listen and do something about it. Mm-hmm. Women have to have a mammogram every year. They do it whether they like it or not because they know it's for their health. But for men, 50 years old and up, we have to do a PSA test or an MRI. Mm-hmm. It could save our lives. Mm-hmm. It really can. I had traditional surgery because of the nature of my cancer, so I had to have a complete prostatectomy. And with a complete prostatectomy can be impotence and incontinence. Mm-hmm. Luckily, I know this isn't wood, but luckily I haven't experienced that or ED or anything like that. But you can. Mm-hmm. If it's not caught early, you will just it's devastating. So I don't know why men just won't just make an appointment and do it, and then keep going and just watch their health.
Yeah. And you know, so many men are like that. Is there stubbornness to like, oh, he just won't go to the doctor. I've told him, but he won't go. What is that about? What do you think that's all about?
Well, you know what? A lot of the doctors, a lot of the urologists and radiologists say men are afraid of anything down there. You know, anything invasive or anything. But a blood test is not invasive. An MRI is not invasive. Some of the old ways, they're not doing that anymore. You know, the rectal and things like that.
Right.
An MRI is so simple and quick, and a blood test, it's over before you know it.
Absolutely. So what's the differences today as opposed to like maybe 5 years ago in terms of new treatments that are out there and ways that they can treat prostate cancer without being so invasive?
There's actually a new procedure now called the TULSA procedure. And it actually came out the year after my prostate cancer. I would have been a candidate.
Okay.
But what they do is it's in a imaging setting. There's no surgery. They go in through the rectum, they ablate the cancer within the gland, and then 90 minutes later you walk out.
Wow.
And I believe it's like 30 days later you go back and have an MRI just to check. But it's extremely successful. We're doing it now here in Orange County. We're doing it up in West Valley. And we're so excited about this. I'm very excited, and because I know that it's not invasive, I'm trying even harder to get the word out.
Absolutely, and that's an important thing. I guess that fear factor, like you said, for some men, and they just don't want anything going on down there. And also, is there kind of maybe a denial, like, oh, I'm fine, I'm fine. Like, I don't want to, this is part of life.
You know, women march, everything's pink, they wear pink, they're good sports about it. You know, some of us will wear blue, some of us will wear a ribbon, but we really don't do anything about it. And that's what's really sad. There's more men dying of prostate cancer than women were of breast cancer. And that's really sad, because you don't have to die.
No,
you don't have to.
Now, as a survivor, and most survivors, are there regular checkups that need to happen?
For 5 years, you go every 6 months to an oncologist, and they do blood tests. And they check the PSA, and they check for whatever they have to. And then after that, if you're still okay, it becomes once a year. So now I will start going once a year. And it's kind of exciting. But it's like a badge of courage now. You know that you've had it. You now have to wear that proudly. And you try to do something about it, and you try to help people so they don't have to go through it.
Now, as the test comes up, do you get a little tinge like, oh, let it be okay? Or is there worry? Like,
yes. I actually had before I was released for the 5 years, I had a false positive. And they did it again because there's things that happen. I don't know necessarily what they are that could have caused the false reading, but I had it done again and it was fine at 0.
Okay.
So
that's some good news there. What would you say to viewers right now about prostate health and how we can, prevention and getting things checked and just the whole gamut of it?
I would like for all men right now to think about making an appointment if they haven't. Also, another thing is make sure that you're seeing a dedicated prostate specialist. See your urologist, your medical provider, whoever will do the PSA test. But if you have to have a surgical procedure, make sure it's done by a prostate surgeon. A dedicated surgeon is so much better than a non-dedicated surgeon. And I know that's probably not a good thing to say, but for a survivor, it is. It is.
And with your experience, what do you think was the most important step you took? Just going to the doctor, just get in there and make sure it happened? I mean, and not ignoring the signs, right?
No, I didn't. My doctor said, "Oh, Paul, you're getting old." I said, "I'm 54 years old. I'm not a kid, but give me a break." And he said, "We can wait." And I said, "I don't want to wait because I'm losing sleep." So you have to know your body. If something doesn't feel right, act on it. It may be nothing, but it may be something, and it may be your body just telling you something's off.
And how do you support other men? Do you go out and are you in any groups? Do you talk to folks? Do you just say, hey,
I talk to everybody. If it's at work.
You're the guy at the cocktail party.
Yes, I am the one that brings everybody down. No, but I try to encourage men in groups, dinner parties, people I meet, fundraisers, whatever I can. I get involved in anything I can for awareness.
Well, good work. Paul Kalaki, a RadNet and prostate cancer survivor, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great information. You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.
Who is RadNet? You've probably heard our name and seen our commercials, but you still might not know who we are. RadNet is the largest provider of outpatient imaging services in the United States, with over 8,000 employees and almost 400 imaging centers in 7 states. Likely, if you have had diagnostic imaging, you have experienced RadNet's high-quality, cost-effective imaging services. With 35 years of expertise, RadNet is leading into the future with advanced technology and the very latest AI technology. We are positioned for the future of healthcare. RadNet, leading radiology forward.
Celebrating 65. Exciting until you wonder, should I apply for Medicare? If so, how? But I'm still working. What is Medicare Part A, Part B, C, D? Are there penalties involved? We make it easier for you. We discuss the pros, cons, and myths. Call 1-888-225-6468. We help you understand, enroll, and use your benefits so you can go back to doing the things you love.
And before we check out here, let's talk about the Friday movie, and it's a classic. It's a good one. It is the last movie before Daniel Day-Lewis retired from acting. It's called Phantom Thread, and it's brought to us by Providence Mission Hospital. It's going to be on 2 p.m. with the subtitles, 6 p.m. without the subtitles. It follows a dressmaker, Daniel Day-Lewis's character, in the 1950s London, who takes on a young waitress as his new muse, and they get into a battle of the wills back and forth, and it's really an interesting, kind of slow-moving plot line, but it's a very interesting battle of the wills between the two of them. So a very interesting watch. Let's take a check on our weather before we head out. And hate to say it, folks, but hot. Hot's in the forecast for a little while longer. We got a heat advisory going on for today and tomorrow, and then as we get a little bit cooler, it's not going to be till Tuesday till we get a real break in the temperatures. So this heat dome that's over Southern California is kind of sticking there. It's going to get a little cooler on Sunday, Monday, but really we're not going to see any actual relief until about Tuesday. That's going to do it for this edition of This Day. Tomorrow on the program, we want to welcome the folks from Irvine Barkley. Got a great show going on, and African American Heritage Club's going to be here as well, so stay tuned for that show. That's going to do it for this edition of This Day. I'm Michael Taylor. For all of us here at This Day, we hope you make this one a great one.